football yesterday. We get that. That happens. The locks were strange. I went 3-2 in my locks yesterday. We'll go through them right now. So they were interesting locks. So lock number one was the Baylor over. Just a second, let me send Taiwan today's pro password. What's today? 11/18 pro. Morning, everybody. Morning, G, Real D. Oh, nice to see you, Real D. Where have you gone? Pat? Hey, Pat. We'll talk economics, Pat. I promise. A little bit of football, but it's not, it's pros aren't that big. So if you want to buy the pros today, Taiwan just did, you can buy the class, and I'll send you the password. So looks like the crypto show is a shag show to keeping the interest in metals suppressed. Yeah, that's about to end, but yeah. However, as we listen to Mark McGuire, there was no central banks are buying it faster than they did before. So just a second. So let me recap. So I played 5 locks yesterday. Baylor over, easy. Texas State, I cream de la creme, won easy. And Georgia under, won. I don't know how easy, but they won. The problem was I played Kansas State, Arizona State over. There's a lot of turnovers in the game. I should have got, because it was only 45. I mean, it should have been there easy. And then I played the Kansas BYU over instead of Kansas. I said, I know BYU is going to be flat, and they were. And I knew Kansas would play them tough, and they did. But instead of playing Kansas, for some reason, I played it over. And because they put up 48 on Iowa State, Kansas did. So I assumed that would happen. And they played a 17-10 game. Where did that come from? BYU scores 30 points a game. They played a 43 with Utah. So I don't know where Kansas doesn't have that kind of defense. Anyway, so that's what happened. I did call the upset. My BYU guy was trying to defend it, going, oh, no, they won't lose. They go, yeah, they're going to lose. but it sucks when you're torn between the game and the total, and for some reason you played the total instead of the game. Anyway, it was a lot of good calls. USC didn't play them. Missouri didn't play it. The ones I did play, Lou Lafayette over doesn't show up. Liberty can't beat UMass. So fortunately, Texas State did come through. So a lot of the teams that needed it didn't win. But it was one of those Saturdays. It was very strange. There was a lot of turnovers, a lot of interceptions. And I'm looking at the box score. No touchdowns, one pick from a team I'm expecting to score 50 points. So it just happens. Teams get tired. It's near the end of the year. Shit happens. But today I'm got there's not a lot of plays, but I got very strong ones. So good morning, G. Real D, good morning. Pat, good morning. Crypto, crypto. It's all a Ponzi scheme. Do not get on the crypto. We had a guy yesterday, I think Jason, and he's buying it to get out to buy gold. So I don't mind. As I say, it's like going to the casino. You have to quit a winner, right? If you're playing craps and you get up $2,000, goodbye. You play a little bit more, and if it starts, the sevens start hitting, you get the hell out. You don't just stay there. So these people in Bitcoin don't think it'll go down. And when asked what makes it go up and down, they can't answer. So it's the Bitcoiners. Again, I can hold the Mahomes card in my hand. I can wear a Rolex watch. I can have a Picasso on my wall. What can I do with a Bitcoin? It's not real. How can you invest in something that's not real? Crazy. Greg and John, good morning. Real D. Looks like the class is getting bigger, Professor. Well, yeah. It's a good time someday. Sometimes my hours, I apologize, not consistent. Back to work. I go from work to swim, and then I eat, and then I'm coming on later. I think I got to mix that up and come home first and do class and then go after to the pool. I thought as if I come home, I'll go to sleep. Real D, Arizona State 8-2 now. Didn't see that coming. Well, they got a good quarterback now, and Scatterboon. They must have got a new coach. So you got a good quarterback, a good running back. I didn't see the defense. It's like a 23. But yeah, they're playing well. Kansas State, I don't know. They're not. They beat Kansas, then lost. Colorado is the one playing very well, although I didn't see them putting up 50 points on Utah. This is the way the day was yesterday. The real strong defenses, where did they go? Georgia did beat Tennessee. Tennessee's quarterback sucks. I had that game pegged. I played it under. I saw it. That was my first lock, was Georgia under. Georgia, when they need to win, they at home, you can't bet against them at home. LSU dropped an egg to Florida. Yeah, LSU. Well, Bobby needs to be out there playing. I mean, without Bobby playing, they're not. I don't think the quarterback's that good. I was shocked to see Langway out there. He hurt his hamstring so bad in the Georgia game he couldn't even get up off the field. They had to put him in a golf cart to get him off, and I can't believe in 2 weeks later he's fine. Obviously, he took the shot, but he looks okay. So yeah, a lot of strange things. See, I think you're getting two things happening now: the NIL. So the guys are changing, and they got to get used to each other. Right? It's like me going to a new job. I got to get used to the boss, and I got to get used to where's the bathroom, and you got to get used to the systems, and it takes a while. And I think that's what you're seeing at Arizona State. That's what you might be seeing at BYU. These teams are getting different. I can't believe I won the Notre Dame bet. I bet Notre Dame over 44. And I said, well, they'll score 44. They're laying 22. They end up winning 35-14, which would buy 21 because Virginia scored with 10 seconds left in the game, which gave us our over. But if you bet and laid 22, you lost. Hence, why you tease. Because if you didn't tease, you wouldn't have won either of them. But in a teaser, you'd have won Notre Dame minus 16, and obviously we won the over with it. But you could see what happened. And, hands to the face, penalty. We're getting Virginia in the end zone here. So it's a lot of phony baloney going on there. But yeah, I mean, look at Colorado, and they're playing well. Arizona State. Kansas is starting to move. They look good. Kansas State doesn't. Iowa State played well. Baylor scores like they always do. I locked the over in the Baylor game once I learned the West Virginia quarterback was playing. So it was a late lock. So the lock was 50, I think 53. We had won it at halftime. It was 35-21. Baylor was 56. We needed 53 for the game. At half, we got over already. Now that's what I like. That's my Baylor team. Can always count on them. TCU, good offenses. Texas Tech, all these teams, you just pound the over. New Mexico beat Washington State, and they put up a 73, and the over-under on the game was 71, I think. I didn't see that coming because I did quote on it, they're playing Washington State here, not, South Alabama. So I was a little surprised there. Who do you like to win the Heisman Trophy? Well, the best player versus the player and the undefeated team are two different people. Who's the best player? I got to think about that. I got to go through my conferences. I would say Gentry, the BYU running back, or the Boise running back, is the best player in the country by a mile. You can't tackle him. He gets 200 yards a game. I think he's got 1,700 yards already. None of the quarterbacks are really aces. Dylan Gabriel, but he almost fucked up yesterday. What was that with Wisconsin? Jeez, Wisconsin's not good. Holy shit. So I thought he was good, but now I'm not thinking he's good. He's okay. Why would Oregon struggle? I thought Will Howard would be a little better at Ohio State. He's not. The Indiana, they got a good team, but they don't have a Heisman. Let's see. I don't think Cam Ward at Miami is a Heisman Trophy winner. I don't know. I'm going through the thing. Really, Ollie Gordon's a major disappointment. He could have been up there. I don't buy Shedeur Sanders or this other guy because he plays two ways at Colorado. I mean, I don't buy that guy just because he plays two ways. He's okay. He's not the best receiver. He's not the best DB. Just because he plays them both, you don't make him. He's not the Heisman Trophy winner. I'd say Gentry at Boise is by far the best player. And you know who else I think is the defensive end at Old Mississippi? They got two really strong Lawrence Taylor type defensive ends that shut Georgia down. They're outstanding. The defensive end yesterday for Tennessee's incredible. Even Sampson, the running back at Tennessee, is very strong, but he's not as good as the Boise guy. Morning, Alex. So Gentry's got to win the Heisman. He's the best player. Now, if I'm a pro team, if I got any type of quarterback, I'm drafting Gentry. He should be the first pick. And these pros have to figure out you need a balanced offense and you need running inside the red zone to win. Because how many times do we see 1st and 10 at the 10? Oh, it's fourth and fourth, the 4, and we're going to throw. And they turn the ball over on downs because you can't get anybody open in a 10-yard space. It's like a phone booth, but you can run it in. If you had Gentry, we have Herschel Walker, we got Bo Jackson, you're gonna run it in. So that's my point there. All right, let's look at the line. Now I've got one lot going today. My free pick is Kansas City as a dog and Detroit off of 5 interceptions, playing Mac Jones in Jacksonville, even though it's 13.5, 7.5. Realistically, they're going to win by 30. Because in their minds, they played a bad game. Goff was terrible. And in their minds, Goff's going to put up 40 points today. I would almost say it's an over 46-40, but I'm not sure what Jacksonville with Mac Jones is going to do. If it was Trevor Lawrence, this would be a lock over 46 because he would run for a couple touchdowns. They score with him, but their defense sucks. So let's walk through the games. One lock. Couldn't find another. It's a lot of crap today. But there was about 5 good games I found. So that's the plays. The Rams, 443, the New England. Then we'll get into gold and everything. 4 and 43.5. Yeah, we'll leave it as it is. Rams an E team, 24 defense. Stafford against New England, a W team, 22 defense, and Drake May. I'm not sold on Drake May. Stafford's way better. Got Pukanuka, Cooper Kupp. I'd be surprised if New England beat him this game. But this is my horror game. This is the game in 1981. I played Eric Dickerson in New England and the Rams to win, and New England beat them 24-20. So I have a hard time playing the Rams here. Miami 7.5, 43.5 to Oakland. Oakland's a Z team, 28 defense, even with Max Crosby. Minshew against Miami, a W team, a 22 defense with Tag. Miami sucks against the line this year. So does Oakland. When I go through the teaser lines, it's amazing. But I like, Miami's usually fairly good at home, not good on the road. They did play Buffalo well, and then they beat the Rams. So, okay, they're showing something. So, maybe -1, maybe, but I didn't play it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they won at home. The Bears and the Packers, Green Bay, 5.5, 41 to the Bears. The Green Bay is an E team with a 22 defense and Love, and Chicago is an under team with a 19 defense and Caleb. Love he had 2 weeks to heal from that groin injury. Hopefully he's better by now. Green Bay is 20. Minnesota is 23-3 in a teaser. Green Bay is 21 and 4 in a teaser. So Green Bay, the last year and a half, is very strong in a teaser. They should beat the Bears here because Caleb ain't going to do anything. And a new offensive coordinator, that takes time. Like I said, a new job, it takes, a month at least to figure out what is Caleb like, what are good plays. Caleb sucks. That's you could put in all the offensive coordinators you want. It's Caleb's the problem. But they don't want to admit they made a mistake and they drafted Caleb instead of Daniels or instead of Bo Nix or instead of Penix. They fucked up. They didn't watch the USC Notre Dame game, I guess. So we're living with that. But they have a very good defense. Green Bay's got a good defense. I just don't see the Bears scoring much. Green Bay, so I think Green Bay wins it. I think it's probably not a lot of points, but we'll see. All right, the free pick, Detroit. Ooh, there's a 13 you can get. I see a 13 on BetMGM and a 47.5. Well, we can't go over, although it's gone up from 46 to 47.5 because we only have Mac Jones. So it's Jacksonville, a W team with a 26 defense, And I got to start getting into the last 5 instead of the whole year because I got to throw out the first 2 or 3 weeks. But a 26 defense, Mac Jones, Detroit an A team, a 19 defense. So, they gave up 23 to Houston last week. Without Hutchinson, they're okay. They're still against a good quarterback. I don't think the guy from Cleveland's any good. I didn't understand. I never heard of the guy. If I never heard of him, he's not any good. So Detroit an A team with a 19 defense. Let's call it a 22 defense. And we got Golf, who threw 5 picks. My score, Detroit 37-13 is my score in the game. And that was kind of with thinking that Trevor Lawrence was playing. So let's call it 37-10 with Mac Jones. And Detroit might be in the 40s. They're going to kill him. It's just the way Detroit is right now. They either run it down your throat or they pass it down your throat. And Jacksonville, with the 26 defense, isn't going to do shit to stop them. And Golf with the 5 interceptions is going to be pissed off. So they're going to just light it up. They're going to come out strong, probably put up 30 by the first half would be my thoughts. So it should be a big Detroit win. That's why it's the free play. But I can't lock it because it's over 7. Had this spread been 9, it'd been a lock. 13.5, I can't lock a 7.5 in the pros. But it's the free play, though. They should do it, but it goes against my lock rules. Cleveland somehow is favored 1.5, 44 to New Orleans. A W team with Winston, who sucks. So I don't know why they're favored. New Orleans an E team with the 25 defense, and Derek Carr's back. I believe Olave's playing because I didn't see him on the injured list on covers. You got Kamara. So New Orleans, they finally won last week with Carr. I don't see how Cleveland can be a road favorite. Even in the Big Ten, I don't see them being a road favorite. So I think New Orleans is very live here, and should be a low-scoring game, but we'll see. I didn't play the game, just my thoughts. Baltimore Pitt, Baltimore 3, 48.5. We got an over team in Baltimore. Their defense is not good, 25 defense. And Lamar, good for a couple turnovers a game. Pitt, who's playing very well, B team, but I think they're more of an A team with Russell Wilson. A 16 defense. What can I say? This game should be close. Pitt could, and I wouldn't even call it. If Pitt wins, I wouldn't even call it an upset. I mean, Russell Wilson will be the key difference here. This should be a good game. Probably a little more high scoring, but we're really looking at Pitt's defense and Russell Wilson against Lamar, and the fact Baltimore doesn't have a defense. And, oh, by the way, they've got Harbaugh, who kind of doesn't know what he's doing anymore. Minnesota, 6 and 39.5 to Tennessee. Minnesota is a B team, 17 defense, very good defense. Darnell, Alex thought he was slipping last week. They still won 12-7, but it was a lot of win there. Here they got Tennessee, a Z team with the 27 defense. I heard the guy on BetMGM saying how good Tennessee's defense is. I'm like, it's a 27 defense. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, he's looking at yards to go on third down or some crap like that, which we don't care about. We care about points. So there's Z team and Levis. Levis sucks, so I don't see this. Darnold's playing better. Minnesota in a teaser, 23-3 since last year. Now, Darnold was not there last year, but still the coach was, and Jefferson was, and the defense. So the concept's pretty good this year. I think Minnesota's 9-0 or 8-1 in a teaser. Obviously, if they're 23-3. So Minnesota lane 6, 39.5. What was I going to say? I don't know. These BetMGM guys are like Bitcoin guys. They want you to bet because they need action. They're trying to sell you on the action. Oh, this part of this thing's 1,200 to 1. Bet this, and the odds on winning are like 20,000 to 1. So don't listen to these idiots on the radios, please. So Minnesota, what can I say? 23-3 in a teaser. Enough said. The Jets, 4.5, 43.5 to Indy. I have no fucking idea here. The Indy is good with, and they're 8-1 with and without a bet and bet against. The JETSs are just bet against. A new coach, a new OC. Aaron Rodgers is still there. I don't know. Indy, they're both under teams. 22 defense for Indy, 21 for the JETSs. Richardson's back, and Rodgers about 100 times better. So I have no idea. I can't trust the Jets. I certainly can't trust Indy. I have no idea. Maybe you can fish around. It's an under game. Maybe it's an under. I don't know. You never know with Richardson. He runs around, and Aaron Rodgers could get hot, but these are 2 under teams. But after yesterday, I have no idea anymore. The Niners, 6-48.5 to Seattle. They're both E teams. Seattle, 25 defense. I think Metcalf is back today. I'm not sure. We'll take a look in a minute. San Francisco, even team with the 22. Smith against Purdy, but I know McCaffrey's back, and I know Deebo Samuel's playing and Kittle's playing. So they're getting there. Their defense is starting to get the players back. Seattle, I don't like their coach at all. Let's see if we got anything on DK Metcalf. San Francisco, no, it's Seattle. It says injured knee, so I don't know what that means. So I don't know if he's playing or not. If he's not playing, we'll load up on Frisco. Then really jump on Frisco. If he is playing, be careful. But I think Frisco, the key is McCaffrey in the red zone scoring touchdowns. Atlanta, Denver, 1.5, 45 to Atlanta. Atlanta's an E team with a 24 defense. Cousins is injured, but he's going to play. He's got a bad shoulder, bad elbow. Against Denver, an under team with an 18 defense. Bo Nix is playing very well. He was 0-5 in the beginning. Now he's like 10 I think it was 0-4. Now he's like 10-5. So he's 10-1 touchdowns to interceptions. Denver, I think, shuts down Atlanta in this game. Denver should have beat Kansas City. A blocked field goal. When you see a blocked field goal, an under team, but the strong defense. And I think Atlanta going on the grass, going to Denver. I think Denver wins this game. No problem. KC Buffalo, our free play. Buffalo 2 and 2, and there's 2.5 on FanDuel, 46.5. I got Kansas City winning the game, 24-21. Strong defenses. KC, a B team with an 18 defense. Buffalo, an A team with a 19 defense. I'd be careful on the over here, but I think you get over 40. But I like KC as a dog all day, every day. This is your second free pick because I didn't want to put anything in college. So you've got KC getting 8.5. They're not going to lose, and you got 8.5. Buffalo cannot win this game because it's not what they do. Jim Kelly, Josh Allen is a choke, and Mahomes wins the game. So at the end of the day, if the game's close, Mahomes wins it. He'll score a late touchdown or whatever. I think it'll be like the playoffs when KC got out to like a 17-7 lead, and then here comes Josh Allen back, and they'll make it close, and they'll miss the field goal at the end. So I think you got to take Mahomes in points anytime available, especially Buffalo's not the best team. They won at Baltimore last year, Kansas City. Buffalo went to Baltimore and got killed. So I'm not buying that. They barely beat Miami, and it's just you're betting on Mahomes, basically. Now, the game that's killing me here is San Diego, Cincinnati. San Diego is 1.5, 47.5, 48. I have no idea. Cincinnati's an over team with the 26 defense, which really screws me up. And obviously Joe Burrow, and San Diego's an under team with a 13 defense. And Herbert, the trend here is San Diego in the teasers. It was like, I want to say 8-1 or 9-1. It's with the bye. It's the 13 defense. I don't know what to do with it. Burrow and Chase should score, but I could see San Diego. The problem's going to be Cincinnati's defense. Are they going to keep us in the game or not? You can't go over, even though it's Burrow and Chase, because you got Jim Harbaugh playing Michigan football. We're going to run and play defense. So a 13 defense really hinders me. I think if you put a gun to my head, I would probably go. I guess I would try to take Cincinnati as the dog because it's Joe Burrow and Chase, but I don't love it because I don't have a defense. And I got an over team, and San Diego can light them up. They'll probably run it down their throat and then try to take the air out of the ball. So this will be like an Army-Navy game like the Philadelphia, where since he's going to run the ball, keep it away from Burrow, they can't stop him because their defense sucks. And then Burrow gets the ball back, and he'll throw an interception, and then he'll hit Chase on a couple of touchdowns. The question is, where will the score be? So I can't really – this game I have no idea. Very difficult. But again, with the gun to my head, I'd have to take Joe Burrow, but I'm not playing it. And our last game is Dallas, 741.5 to Dallas. Houston, an under team, 23 defense, and Stroud, who had a little choke last week. And Dallas, W team with the 29 defense and Cooper Rush. So they're basically a Z team with Cooper Rush, although he's got to be better than Dak. I don't know. I think they're going to have a letdown because they got sky high for the Lions and blew the game on Stroud's little pop-up. Instead of firing the ball in the end zone for an easy touchdown, he pops it up, gets it intercepted, and that was it. That sealed the game. You knew Detroit was going to go. All right, let me look at comments here. Good morning, Alex. Oh damn what, G? Titus Perkins. Titus, how you doing? Good morning, y'all. In Vegas, shaking up the sports books. Thank the professor. Everyone wants to know what I'm on. You should start charging them, Titus. Either that or give them my picks. Or give them my don't give the picks. They're valuable. So either give them to me and let me have more customers, or you take them and charge them. Don't give them any picks. Joe Burrow over passing yards. Not against San Diego's defense. I don't know what's the over. What are the passing yards? Sam, how you? Do you like Green Bay team total over 23.5? No, not against the Bears. In other, they might get there, but like they played Minnesota 31-28 and they lost. They were down 31-0. But that was kind of, they had to come, and I think they scored late against the Bears. I watched the Bear game, and it was very tough for Stafford to score touchdowns. And Stafford's he's a master. So over 23.5, I got the O. Or Minnesota team total over 23.5. Well, let's look at the worst defense. I don't want to fuck with the Bears defense. It's a 19. Minnesota's got Tennessee at 27. Yeah, go Minnesota. You're looking at the defense. So the Bears, like I said, against the Rams, but Tennessee's terrible. I think Minnesota should be around there, maybe upper 20s. But, yeah, I would take Minnie over Green Bay there. Well, Real D, what's Joe Burrow's passing yards? What do we got there? I mean, San Diego, they got Khalil Mack and they got Joey Bosa coming at him. And Harbaugh with the blitzes, and they got that good safety. He's not going to have a lot of time to throw, so just be careful. This is not the game to bet Joe Burrow. Bears have a new offensive game plan this week. Oh, yeah, and they still have Caleb, though. Oops. How fast do you think they can install a new offense with 1 week? I mean, that's where it's going to be hard. It makes sense, but is the offensive coordinator? Look at the Jets' new offensive coordinator sucks. You have a bad quarterback, and so your thought is, well, bring in a new offensive coordinator, that'll fix it. No, it won't fix it. You still have a shitty quarterback. Green Bay, watch them blitz Caleb, because obviously that Caleb can't read it, and Caleb he goes back and then he starts scrambling, and they just absorb him. He'll get sacked 6-7 times. So I don't buy that. He can't. You've given him 3 receivers and he can't hit any of them. He doesn't hit whatchamacallit, Keenan Allen, and the guy from Washington, the rookie's nothing. And then DJ Moore, you're overthrowing him. So you got issues at your quarterback. Bill Walsh could be the offensive coordinator, and it would take him more than a week. It took him, a year till he fixed Joe Montana and until that offense was running. So, that's not going to help. It's still, they have a very good defense. That's how you got to look at the Bears. You got to look at the team's defenses. So the worst defense in the league right now, Oakland with the 28. Carolina is terrible. They're at 30-something, but they're off today. Jacksonville at the 26. So the Lions will feast. Bet on Goff. He'll have a monster day. Tennessee at 27. Seattle at 25. Cincinnati at 26. And Dallas at 29. But a lot of that's been without Micah Parsons. So be careful. He'll be all over Stroud. Stroud will go in and roll to the right, and Micah Parsons will be right there. Well, I don't know that Green Bay is going to run it up because Green Bay, the Bear defense is outstanding. You can't look. You've got to play against weak defenses. That's the key to betting, is finding the weak defense and pounding it. Okay, yesterday I locked Texas State over Southern Miss, and I'm laying 27 points. You know why? Because Southern Miss had a 37 defense, and I knew Texas State would score all day, and they did, and they won like 55-3. But I bet against the Southern Miss because they were a Z team and their defense sucked. That was the key to the lock, because I knew I had McLeod back and Texas State was going to score, and there was nothing Southern Miss could do. And I should have double. I think I double locked it. I had it twice, but that should have been my big lock. Should have been Baylor over with Texas State, but we can't all. I should have played Missouri and I didn't. I called that game. But you just, it's easier after the game. But if you're going to play these little parlay things, I would put a ton on Goff today. Real D. Joe Burrow over 262 yards passing. Go under. No fucking way. Not against San Diego. Khalil Mack and Bosa will be all over him. He will not have time. Chase. Against Baltimore, yes, because they don't have a defense. Against Jacksonville, yes. Not here. Don't fuck with San Diego's 13 defense. You got to be kidding. No, do not go over. Go under, if anything. Sam, I agree. That's why Green Bay will have possession all game. Hopefully score 24 points. It's going to be low to mid-20s, maybe, because I thought the same when the Rams played them and Stafford, and I think he had Cooper Kupp. And, I think they got 18 points. They couldn't score touchdowns. They kicked a lot of field goals. That's what you got to be concerned with. So don't fuck with the Bears defense. The offense you can fuck with, but not the defense. Gildy, the Atlanta versus Denver game is really tricky, Professor. Can go either way, right? I like Denver in the game, as I said. Atlanta, Cousins has a hurt elbow and shoulder. But I'm betting Denver's defense, and I'm betting on Bo Nix. Denver's defense is a killer. It's an 18. They played Kansas City. What was that score? Or what? What was the KC score last week? It was KC 16, Denver 14. They held Mahomes to 16. And if they could kick a field goal, they would have won 17-16. They will beat Atlanta. Atlanta, Kirk Cousins against a good defense, forget about it. He's the biggest choke in the game, and look for him. I know he lost to the Giants in a home playoff game 2 years ago. If I'm taking Denver. Maybe you take the under. Either way, but I like Denver in 5. They're not losing by more. Atlanta doesn't beat you anyway. They got a weaker defense, so Denver could really light it up today. They're very good at home at that high altitude. And don't fuck with Bo Nix. He's like I said, 10-1. He's getting more and more comfortable, and they're running a lot of Oregon plays, I see. So no, I think Denver's the play. I think San Francisco is a good play today, especially if Metcalf's out. But if he's playing, because of McCaffrey being back, gives San Francisco the duel. Now they can run the ball with McCaffrey, and they can throw the ball to Samuel and Kittle and a couple of these other guys. And they have to win. If you look at let's look at the standings. So you know how I like to look at backs against the wall. So if we look at this, let's see if they say about Seattle. I'm looking at injuries. Seattle, it doesn't say if he's out or not. Noah Fant, some center. So I don't know. Let's update it and see. No, it doesn't say. All right, so let's go to standings. Let's look at news and see what's the latest news. Bill Belichick wants to return to coaching. Yeah, but he doesn't have Tom Brady, so forget about him. Sunday night, how to watch on TV. What is it? How to watch things? Aren't they just on TV? What are they trying to sell you into this? Starting Seahawks center quits. I love it. Deion Sanders cannot fix Cowboys. Yeah, okay. We never thought he could. All right, so let's look at the standings. Buffalo at 8-2, and Miami 3-6. Buffalo has nothing to play for. Well, the 1 seed. Pittsburgh 7-2, Baltimore 7-3, Cincinnati 4-6. So Baltimore plays Pitt. Big game. Houston 6-4, Indy's 4-6. So Houston's pretty well, and Kansas City's 9-0. The 1 seed, and the San Diego is 6-3, and Denver 5-5. So both San Diego and Denver need the game. They're, let's say, as it is now, San Diego is a game behind Baltimore, Denver 2, and that's it. So it's the 4 leaders in Baltimore, and then it's San Diego and Denver for the other wild cards. So Denver needs the game. NFC, Philly 8-2, Washington 7-4 has already played. Dallas a whopping 3-6. Detroit 8-1, Minnie 7-2, Green Bay 6-3. Minnie and Green Bay have to win. And Detroit doesn't have to win, but will win because of how badly Golf played. That's what you got to realize. Even though Detroit won, Golf threw 5 picks. Golf's going to be much better today. So I'm telling you that. So Minnesota has to win. Green Bay has to win. The Bears are 4-5. We'll probably end 4-13 because they got the hard part of their schedule. Got 2 Detroits, 2 Green Bays, 2 Minnesotas. That's 6 losses. So now they're at 4-11, and they've already played Carolina. So no help. Atlanta 6-4, Tampa 4-6. Pathetic. Arizona 6-4. Here you go. Frisco 5-4. The Rams and Seattle 4-5. So Frisco has their back against the wall because they're a Super Bowl team. They expect to go there. They're 5-4. Okay, they played like shit. They didn't have McCaffrey. He's back. Look for them to turn it on. I'm expecting the next 4 or 5 weeks, as long as McCaffrey stays healthy and Purdy, as long as they stay healthy, they're going to win them all. So this is the first one, Seattle. I don't like their coach at all. I think that was a big mistake to get rid of Coach Pete for this idiot. And Geno Smith, what are you keeping him for? He's like Daniel Jones. He's not good. And then DK Metcalf's been out, so we'll see. But the Niners at home, we got them even. Look out. They should win the game because they have to. They're a half a game behind Arizona. And if you look at the wild card, you got Washington 7-4, Minnesota 7-2, Green Bay 6-3. Those are your 3 wild cards. Frisco's not even a wild card now, and they're half a game behind, so they got to win their division. This is a must-win game for a team like the Niners. They will win it, and that's what we're looking for. All right. Let's quickly update the lines. It's 12 o'clock. All the sharps come in and make their bets. Yeah. If you believe there's a sharp, good luck. LA 4-43, Miami 7.5, 43.5, Green Bay 6, 40.5, Detroit 13s, they're now 13.5, 47.5, Cleveland 2, 44. Why are you betting on Cleveland? I mean, let me check the injuries. What in God's name would you be betting on Winston for? I don't see a lobby out. Really, they got an offensive lineman out, and it's Jay Williams, the guy for the Lions, who's been hurt the whole 2 years, and that's it. And then the question: so why did Cleveland get somebody back who we wouldn't know anyway? Thompson Robinson's injured, Jerry Jeudy injured knee. He'll be playing. I don't get it. How can you bet on Cleveland here? Are you kidding me? At New Orleans with Carr, Olave, Camaro, you're going to bet Cleveland. Okay, good luck on that one. Baltimore still 3-48. Mini 6, 39.5, 40. The Jets is 4, 43.5. The Niners 6, 48.5. Denver 1.5, 2, 45. And Buffalo, was that? No, wait, it wasn't. Buffalo 2.5. Mahomes 46.5. Are you kidding me? San Diego 1.5, 47.5. I don't like that line. It should be much higher. My line was 3, San Diego. I don't know why. Again, if I had to bet it, I would probably tease Cincinnati in 7.5, just because it's Joe Burrow. But I don't know. Houston 7, 41.5. So that's what you have in pros today. Teaser trends, very important. Since we do teasers, and we win a lot of money on games that everybody else loses because we've teased it. Minnesota 23-3 in a teaser. Detroit, let's look at this year. 9-1 in the teaser. as is Green Bay. Pittsburgh is 9-0 in a teaser. Buffalo 8-1, Indy 8-1, Houston 8-1. All these teams are like 8-1. Denver, San Diego, Kansas City's 9-0 in the teaser, or 8-0, whatever they are. They've won every week in the teaser. And Tampa Bay, who's off today. So most of the good teams are good in the teaser. The bad teams, the play against, the JETSs, I don't think have covered that. I think if you bet against them, you won every game. Houston, Indy, Miami, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Dallas, Seattle, and of course, Carolina. They're all like 9-1. Carolina's like 23-3 the other way with Steve Young. The only reason Carolina won last week because they were running the ball with whatchamacallit, the kid from Oklahoma State. They weren't Young didn't do anything. But the Giants apparently aren't smart enough to put a man in the box and stop the run. I'll never forget Buddy Ryan says, I can stop the run. I'll put a safety in the box. You won't run on me. But I guess these Giants don't understand that. So that's your teaser look at it. Anyway, so we've had Philly's already won. And we did get the under, it was 26-18. I had Washington winning 24-20. So I hit my 44, just not the way they wanted it. So, again, the worst defense, Oakland 28, Jacksonville 26, New Orleans, Cleveland 25, Baltimore 25, Tennessee 27, and Cincinnati 26, and Dallas 29. Yes, Dallas 29. That's why they're not doing well. Dak Prescott stinks, and their defense isn't good. It's not anything else, but if you don't have a defense, and the top defenses, Chicago with a 19, Detroit with a 19, maybe a 21, Pitt with a 16, Minnie with a 17, Denver with an 18, KC with an 18, Buffalo with a 19, San Diego with the 13. That's where a lot of the bets come from. I'm going to bet like you're talking about Denver, and I'm saying, well, they got an 18 defense against Atlanta's 24. That's huge. That's the thing. He'll be, if Cousins is any good today, and I don't know that he will be, they're going to get field goals, but Bo Nix is going to light it up on Atlanta's defense. I mean, if you just understood that, that's a huge way to pick. But, yeah, good luck to Titus. Titus is on fire, literally. I don't know what you won last week, Titus, but I know you won 18 grand. And unless you tried to show me the tickets, but it was the wrong weeks. But, yeah, you want a loan, go to Titus. You want to buy gold, go to Titus. All right. So I was watching Mark McGuire. I hadn't watched the whole show.
I'm going to reveal the only 5 to 7 stocks that I believe you should.
Shut the fuck up. We don't buy stocks here. All right. So we'll go into Mark's. I think. Okay. So it was a very good show. I'll recap it first. So we're all worried about Trump and the Bitcoin and gold going down. Don't worry. You have nothing to worry about. Putin will launch his gold-backed currency by December 1st, apparently, because that's what Mark McGuire says. It's all good news. BRICS, they're buying. There wasn't a single ounce of gold that was sold during this bullshit paper drop, right? Not a single ounce of gold was sold. It's all this paper Ponzi scheme made up bullshit. So if you keep that in mind, then you understand, it's a buying opportunity. I went and bought yesterday. And I said to the owner, I says, are people coming in selling? He says, yeah, they're panicking because it's going down. How far will it go down? And we're both laughing, going, this is exactly my point when they start dropping, is to get people out of gold and into Bitcoin, because they make the money in the ETF. They don't make money on us in gold. Once we bought the gold and it's in my safe, they don't make a penny on me. There's no commission. There's nothing. That's why they don't like gold, because they can't make any money on it. Where in stocks, they get commission. In ETFs, not only do they get commission, but they're not even selling anything. Please avoid ETFs altogether. They're a Ponzi scheme. Madoff probably invented them. They're not good. They're fucking you over. You think, oh, I'll buy a gold ETF, and you think, oh, I own an ounce of gold. No, you don't own an ounce. You and 1,000 other people own the same ounce of gold. You don't own it, you'll never get it. So if you're buying ETFs to get physical gold, stop, sell it, go to the store, buy the physical, put it in your hands. That's what you got to do. So that's what's happening is Trump gets elected, and you've got this bullshit where everybody is selling. It's the bullion banks. He calls them CTAs. So these are the traders. They're the ones dumping the dollars going up. Why? And then which forces gold down in an algorithm. It's paper. It's not physical. Nobody's selling gold, all this gold. Nobody. Everybody's buying. So with that said, this is the problem. You have people panicking that gold's going down and getting out of it, which is exactly what they want. Because if they want to control us, they can't control us in gold, because we don't need the government. We got our money right here. You just print something that we can go and take to the grocery store, right? I love the line, well, you can't take gold to the grocery store. I can't take a Rolex to the grocery store either. That doesn't mean I don't want to buy one, or I can't take my Mantle card. But if this is worthless, I can't take this to the grocery store either. And that's going to be the problem at the grocery store. You think Jonathan Taylor scores? Well, I don't know. The Jets defense is not horrible. It's a 21. I don't know if he'll score, because you got Richardson, who wants to run. So I can't answer that. The Jets have a good defense depending who their defensive coordinator is. So I wouldn't, with Richardson, he's more liable to run it in than Taylor. Just be careful with that. 49ers, 49ers are going to be good. Titus, I'm standing in line already waiting to cash my tickets, and the games haven't started. Well, you're welcome, Titus. Good luck. Go hammer them. just give my name out. I'd send you a card if I could get it to you. But yeah, give them my channel and say, you want to win, here's the guy, and pick up some more customers. But I appreciate the tips after. Thank you very much, and I hope we'll have some more. Let's hit it big. I love the lock. I mean, that's beautiful. And the Lions, it's not a lock, but I love that game, and a couple of the others. And again, it was hard to play too many because you got Indy and the Jets. I'm not playing that, and Cincinnati should be a live dog, but I just didn't play that one. So just be careful. But yeah, good. You're hot, Titus. So you got the magic touch right now. All right. So back to gold. See how I can multitask. So you have the gold protects you, right? So the key that you have to understand is the dollar is worthless, and therefore they keep printing it. And without the petrodollar and all the de-dollarizations and BRICS going to gold, nobody will care for the dollar. If you have no demand, there is no price. right? So if you tried selling avocados and nobody wanted it, you couldn't sell them. That's why some items aren't at the grocery store anymore. There was no demand. So keep that in mind. But the dollar, there's no demand for. Now, Trump can say this, and I'm going to tariff you that. Nobody wants your money because it's worthless. Saudi Arabia does not want U.S. dollars because it's worthless. Putin already said that. Xi already said that. They'll sell us goods, and they'll take our dollars. They'll do my Rumpelstiltskin. I took $800 yesterday and turned it into gold. That's what they'll do. They'll go buy gold with it. And the Russians are coming out with a diamond and precious metal exchange, which will give us real prices of physical, not paper derivative bullshit. And when we see that, it's going to make Bitcoin look like amateur hour at 80,000. If you would let gold run, it would have been way over 80,000 by now. Like I say, the Montana rookie card's 110,000. That's a fucking card. Imagine gold, if you would let it run, would be more than that. So once Putin does that, and with the gold backed currency, look out. So let's go to Mark McGuire. I know I did it yesterday, but I don't care. I'll do it again. And we'll start off with the election.
With the USA Trump election win, it really has thrown the markets into turmoil with speculators. I think they sold gold and silver and they raised headlong into the risk assets, ballooning them to all-time highs. And now the sellers were the non-sticky CTAs that you talk about from time to time who get washed out and get rinsed by the cartel. And in this case, they had loaded up on naked longs. You talk a lot about naked shorts, but naked longs. And
those are options he's talking about.
The paper to physical balance point. Can you share with us what you're seeing into this heavy action here right after the U.S. elections?
Yeah, Shane, great to be with everyone. And thanks for getting the questions together. But yes, to answer, the knee-jerk market reaction, what it does is correctly read the protectionist so-called Trump trade as inflationary. And that's spiking bond yields higher into a rate-cutting Fed, of course, which is obviously an issue. And consequently, it's these risks that have driven a safe haven race into the dollar. Hence, the automated algorithm-driven inverse reaction in COMEX-centric 4% backed fiat gold and silver. So the action we're seeing is in fiat-backed gold, silver. But it's important to distinguish that into the fiat gold and silver capitulations, which have also ignited naked short momentum bets to sell, other than what could be alchemized at the fixes, not a single ounce of physical gold has been put on offer into this sell-off, and quite the opposite. The selling is purely synthetic. So yes, Shane,
that's paper.
The large volume CTA selling has been driven by a race into the dollar, which in the foreign exchange crosses, gold and silver trade as a currency cross. So that's similar, no different to really the dollar against the euro, the pound, the yen, etc. So buying one side of the cross means you're selling the other side of the cross. But under the immediate chatter, the current consolidation pullback exposes a significant weakening of the dollar against first-tier gold. Now, obviously, on a short-term 10-minute chart, it doesn't appear to be visible. In fact,
if you have any football comments, just go and we'll pause it and answer it because I know the game's starting a little bit, but I do want to share this.
Well, what we'll discern shortly is central bank, sovereign, and institutional physical buying have significantly stepped up their buying into this dip, actively alchemizing this synthetically derived 90. Bear in mind that's a 96% leverage gold and silver driven discount into physical. And there's no way of escaping these physical delivery demands that spill out of the casino's back door into the Basel III compliant global delivery markets. Now, the underlying T+1 flow, and we've talked about T+1, it simply means that when a COMEX position lands in London, it is then becomes Basel III compliant, and they have 1 day to deliver. So this T+1 flow has yet to be fully funded. Like ideal, that means from a 96% leverage position to a fully funded position. And then of course they have to physically source this bullion at the market price, and then it has to be delivered. Now the rising dollar, as weighted against the dollar index basket, which comprises of 5 other competing but equally debasing fiat currencies. So, and obviously they are the euro, the Japanese yen, the British pound, Canadian dollar, Swedish krona, and of course the Swiss franc. And it's the dollar rising inside this fiat basket, which actually benchmarks fiat gold. It's important to distinguish fiat gold,
Paper gold,
physical gold. And the resulting action has consequently driven the automated, algo-driven, fiat-centric, strong dollar and tail wagging the dog bearish gold action. So really, that's what we're evidencing now.
So paper gold's really because it's derivative price, not physical price. So in other words, I could have bought 100 ounces of gold yesterday. It wouldn't move the price. The price is moved by the derivative options by JP Morgan. The options are moving the price like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places, not the actual market. Now he's calling it fiat because it's priced in dollars. It's really paper because it's derivatives and it's not physical, and it doesn't matter how many people buy and sell. It's not moving the price. The only thing that moves it is the derivatives. All right, let's go to the brics comments because we all care about
as
that.
we outlined in our last episode, when it looked likely Trump was going to win, Putin, if you remember, had offered Trump an opportunity to back off US sanctions and move to reverse some of the last administration's dollar weaponization efforts, and outlining, if you remember, the quote, the risk of rushing into BRICS single currency plan. That was definitely an olive branch. It was offering an opportunity for central banks to begin cooperating, specifically Trump's regime, and really was this was conjoined though with a definite mandate for the BRICS bank capital to be significantly increased, which it is. Now we've seen a lot of premiums in ruble gold, commanding over $70 an ounce over spot over the last week and a half. As far as the sanctioned countries are concerned, though, unless the Trump administration changes tack, there's a growing number of BRICS nations that see the US government as waging economic war around the world. There's no surprises there. And that is their experience. The Biden administration have seized literally hundreds of billions of dollars of assets from their adversaries and imposed unilateral sanctions. And if we remember, it's mind-boggling, 1/3 of all the countries, including 60% of all the low-income nations, have been sanctioned already. Now, obviously, right now, everyone is feeling each other out, watching the cabinet makeup. While the Trump administration uncertainty plays out, everyone is leaving their options open. Regardless, the stealthy gold price revaluation process continues. Every single global central bank is diversifying out of dollars, as well as seeing their respective local currencies, buying as much gold as possible to bolster the percentage of gold that backs the GDP of these individual nations' currencies. Now, formalized BRICS settlement structures completely aside for the moment, and they're most definitely coming. Likely, as we assessed ahead of the election, it would probably take until the end of November for Putin to announce the launch of his gold-backed currency, given every single one of these.
So gold-backed currency coming December 1st. What do you think that's going to do to the price of gold? What do you think that's going to do to the value of the dollar? And it sounds like it's here, right? It's the 17th. That's 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and here comes gold. Here comes Russian gold. So I'll have to figure out with Daria how I'm going to help her, because my money's not going to be worth shit. It'll be the gold that'll be worth everything. But anyway, that's coming. So don't think because in the BRICS meeting, in the summit, they didn't say, oh, we're going right to gold, because they're trying to keep that under the table. They don't want the U.S. nuking them.
Heavily sanctioned nations have, as a direct result of dollar weaponization, been strategically accruing or settling transactions in gold, indirectly and directly. Now, the settlement process is not formalized. The settlement process could be far simpler than the naysayers indicate. As we were trying to illustrate in our last episode, because globally settled foreign exchange gold fixes are reclassified as first-year assets, so you buy over-the-counter gold, it's a first-year asset deliverable. The global gold fixed price provides a real benchmark to value all currencies and derivatives thereof. So even if they haven't taken delivery, an over-the-counter long is NSFR compliant. It's tradable. And liquid. And in the meantime, central banks are accumulating gold, and it's ultimately the percentage of gold that backs a nation's currency that provides the tradable benchmark to value how much of the nation's foreign exchange currency is valued against another nation's currency. And that benchmark then values a commodity trade or a currency swap. So that's what's happening. And it's thanks to the BIS reclassifying gold to a first-year asset class. So, but looking beyond the short-term chart chatter, following the BIS squaring up decades of gold liabilities ahead of reclassifying gold as that first-year asset class, no European or global South Central Bank is capping the rises of gold. Quite the opposite. On the other hand, empirical evidence points to the US Treasury gold being compromised. Not only does the US Treasury gold not meet LBMA over-the-counter tradability, which we've just demonstrated, anyone who is long over-the-counter gold actually has a tradable first-year asset class. The deliberate refusal that for the Fed to allow independent audits, it raises other concerns. It raises concerns of the integrity of these bars, or how many multiple ownership claims exist. Now, there's no smoke without fire. Why would you deny an auditor, an independent auditor, the bandwidth or the wherewithal to go in and just verify what is supposed to be there? Clearly, there is a problem. So really, we know for certain, I mean, this is the bottom line. We know for certain every bullion bank and central bank is buying gold. I guess the only question remaining is how much physical gold and silver do you own? And this.
So, as he just said, if the U.S. really had gold, we would let an auditor see it. Just like when you ask me, do I have the Mickey Mantle card and I show it to you? Or do I have gold and I show it to you? It's the same thing. If I am lying to you, I won't show you. I'm going to say, sorry, I can't show you, but I do have it. Well, then I'm an idiot, right? Because I'm saying I have it, but I won't show you is ridiculous. So I show you my gold. I show you my Mantle card. The whole thing. So why won't the U.S. let an auditor in? Because we don't have any. So therefore, as he just said, it's the gold that backs the currency. Well, wait a minute. If we don't have any gold, our currency is worthless. Aha. And we used to put a bunch out for the petrodollar, which is no longer the petrodollar. Any country can buy from Saudi Arabia. China's doing it. Russia doesn't need to. They have their own oil. So China doesn't have oil. That's their problem. So they're gonna go to Saudi Arabia or Russia, and they got to pay for it. Saudi Arabia doesn't really want U.S. dollars because they're worthless. They want gold for their oil, and that's where that's headed. And so just understand that. So as he said, the U.S., if they had gold, an auditor would come in to show it, which means we don't have it, which means we're fucked because all the other countries are buying gold hand over fist because JP Morgan does the derivatives to keep the price at 25, 26, 2,700 when it should be 26, 27, 28,000. So that's why when I bought yesterday, I wanted some quarter ounces. He didn't have any. So I bought some 1/10 of an ounces because I just bought ounces last week when I started getting my paychecks. So I got 3/10 of an ounce Philharmonics for only $2.63. They didn't know how to price them. They can price the U.S. and the Canadian 1/10 of an ounce, but they don't know what to do with it. And I love the Philharmonics with the violins on the coin. It's great. So I bought 3 of them. I wanted a quarter ounce. I got 3 instead. It was $790 for 3 10-ounce, and a quarter would have been $725, but I got 0.3 instead of 0.25, so I was fine with it. It was a good sale, but I just keep going and buying. Now that I'm back to work, it's just I'm buying. I mean, that's the whole point of it. And people are selling because they see the price go down, they panic. When you don't know what you're doing and you see the price go down, you panic. It's the same thing with these lines. If we see a line jump from 3 to 6, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll bet on the 6. But if you know what you're doing, there's been times I would take the 6. I'd say, oh, great, I get 6 instead of 3. Sort of like Missouri yesterday with South Carolina. That spread was way too high at 12, and I told you that. And Missouri had the lead late in the game, and they lost by 3 or something like that. But Brady Cook played, the running back played, and they were fine. They looked like Missouri again. So South Carolina is not that good to be giving 12 points to a good Missouri team. Anyway, but that's the same thing. You look at it. You have to have your own mind, and then you look at the spread, and you go, "That's crazy." You don't say, well, the South Carolina is 12. I'm going to bet on South Carolina because they're 12 over Missouri. They must going to kill them. And no, they won by 3, I think. So that's what you got to understand what's going on. The derivatives are keeping the price down. It's not a real price. Putin is coming out with a Russian exchange for physical. Putin's coming out with gold-backed currency. Putin gets it. Our idiot government doesn't get anything. They're all Keynesians. So they think, well, we'll just keep printing money. That'll be fine. Yeah, until it's worthless. So go buy your gold, buy your silver. I had a question from a new student, Jason, yesterday. He says, well, what should I buy? I have some money. Should I buy all silver or gold or what? I would buy pretty much, I'm about 80% gold, 20% silver in my precious metals, and that's my portfolio. I diversify by buying Maple Leafs, Cougarans, and Eagles. Avoid the stock market. It's about to collapse. It's artificially kept up. Bitcoin, God knows what that is, and and real estate's about to collapse. All because the foreigners are going to pull their money out of American dollars and put it into gold. And that's where they're headed to. And that's why all the central banks, he just said, every central bank in the world's buying. This is bullshit. He did ask, I'll go to one more section. How far will the gold and silver sell-off go? And it's already started to fizzle out. As we saw Thursday and Friday, it kind of went back up. So let's listen to this.
Well, let's step through the current footprints following overnight meetings with our liquidity providers. Now, they report that UBS is buying gold.
So he's saying, how far will the gold go down?
Commenting on the central banks selling treasuries over the last few sessions to buy gold. And as we've evidenced into a similar momentum-driven May lows, it took 4 sessions for the momentum 96% leverage supply to be overcome by the commercials forced to take the long side of them to meet these T+1 delivery obligations, driving that $150 short squeeze that we looked at. Now we have CPI and PPI driven volatility, but we just had CPI, and of course, look at the
Those are price indexes.
The usual gained volatility, and we've got PPI, and we're recording this on Wednesday. We've got PPI on tomorrow, on Thursday. We're going to experience more momentums, a little bit of bid pulling, keep the momentums on the short side. That is fully expected. Now, they are short covering into them. Now, we've got, as I say, so this likely may cause the final capitulative short covering drive, but at the latest, probably by next week. But either way, CTAs are completely rinsed out. So any more momentum-driven selling will be used by insiders to hedge upcoming very large physical delivery exposure, which has not yet overcome this momentum supply. Now, looking at the ever more fragile paper market structure, given the CTAs also populate the COMEX-related
these are traders,
exchange-traded funds, and have already capitulated fully into the dollar index strength. Very short term, it largely results in a self-feeding doom loop, which the PPT obviously opportunistically seeks to take advantage of. However, on the other side of the coin, this is important. Dollar strength is actually manna from heaven for central banks and sovereigns and institutionals able to capitalize on swapping their dollars at a higher price to lock in NSFR compliant foreign exchange gold at a discount. And that's exactly what we are witnessing. And forgive the pun, this will ultimately trump the Trump trade, which is ultimately extremely bullish for gold. Now, momentum traders, as we've said before, they hate sideways action. They either want to be racing long or they either want to be racing short. So given the current risk-on sentiment, we would expect momentum to continue to take the bid-pulled bait. But the as yet undelivered T+1 overhang of central bank purchases, much as it did in May, and we demonstrated that, indicates the bottoming process has been triggered, with the scope of any further selling limited to spec naked short sellers, with commercials building longs against them. Now, as the paper to physical crosses begin to settle down, having already ignited the easily rinsable CTA ETF sell action, the consolidative action in both gold and silver is constructively bullish. Now, while the momentum sellers controlling some 75% of all of the open interest, all the casino chips basically, they will not have any visibility into why the commercials are being forced to take the long side of these useful fools suckered into morphing from naked long to naked short into this synthetic action. Classic wash and rinse cycle. Now, central banks, sovereigns, and institutional buyers have been loading up on the COMEX-driven discounts, ultimately forcing commercials to short cover into the momentum sellers to hedge, as I say, upcoming, still undelivered, very, very large T+1 delivery obligations. And I keep drawing attention to the May the 1st similarities. Now, we expect central bank sovereign brics physical gold and silver safe haven buying to continue to drive fresh gold highs in every currency as we head into the end of the year. Now, bottom line, under the noses of the synthetic actors, gold is being revalued by stealth in all global currencies. And much like these past few weeks' big pooled efforts, it's clear that any short-term, officially tricked-in synthetic market profit-taking will continue to be jumped on by a tight-for-supply physical market.
All right, Andrew McGuire, what are you seeing in?
Okay, so free play is Kansas City and Detroit, as I said. Detroit, they you got to lay 13.5, got to lay 7.5. Goff after 5 interceptions, and Detroit really didn't play well. Look for them to have a huge offense against Jacksonville's 26 defense. And Kansas City, you got Mahomes as a dog. So that's your free play. I didn't give a free play in college, although I tried to tell you Baylor over. But basically, that's your free play here. I'm putting both teasers in the pros. I'm doing much, much better in the pros. It's much more reliable. It's much more easier to handicap right now. So I've got Kansas City getting points. Thank you, God. Mahomes an 8.5, and then Detroit laying 7.5. It would be a lock if it was like 9. I'd go to 3. That would be a huge lock. But at 13.5, it's 7.5. It's not bad. So that's your free play. Let's relook at the line right now. It is 12.34. The Rams still 4.43. Miami 7.5. There's an 8.5 at FanDuel, 43.5. The Packers 6-41 to the Bears. Detroit 13.5, 47.5 to Jacksonville. Cleveland 1, down from 1.5, 44 to New Orleans. Baltimore 3, 48 to Pittsburgh. Minnesota 6 and 39.5 to Tennessee. The JETSs are 4, 43 to Indy. The Niners 6, 48.5 to Seattle. Denver 1.5 to 45 to Atlanta. Buffalo 2.5, 46.5 to Mahomes. San Diego still 1.5, 47.5 to Joe Burrow. And Houston 7, 41.5 to Dallas. So the lines really haven't changed. Let's see if there's any injury updates. NFL inactives. Okay, 39 minutes ago. So let's see. NFL inactives week 11. Christian Barmore returns to Patriots. Tyreek Hill putting off wrister. We already know all that shit. You don't need your wrist to catch the ball anyway, Tyreek. You're just so much faster than everybody. Let's see. Green Bay. These are the inactives for week 11. Based on the team reports. Green Bay's got nothing. The Bears, I never heard of the tackle and a guard. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence out. Tank Bigsby out. Mason, DB, cornerback, linebacker, and another defensive tackle. Detroit, Sam Laporta. That's the only guy I know. The tight end. Minnesota, Brett Rippon. Who gives a shit about him? Couple of corners and a D lineman. Fortunately, they're playing Tennessee, who doesn't have a quarterback. Tennessee, Josh Kelly, the running back from UCLA. A couple of O linemen and a DB, a CB, and an LB. Lenarius Sneed, he was great. He was on Kansas City. Good move moving from KC to Tennessee for a few dollars. These players are so stupid. Oakland, I couldn't name a player for you. Miami, nobody. The Rams, Stetson Benson. Oh my God. How can he be? He hasn't played. How could he be injured? Cody Schrader, the great running back from Missouri. Why aren't they playing him? 3 offensive linemen are hurt. That's why I'm not on the Rams. Probably that could be an under. You got 3 offensive linemen. So even though Pukanuka and everybody, you want to have time to throw it. So it'll be tough for the Rams today. Probably an under there with the 3 offensive linemen. New England, KJ Osborne, I've heard of. He's out, wide receiver. Cleveland, they have Bailey Zappi, and they're not playing him. Hard to believe. Dante Foreman is out, and that's it. New Orleans, Spencer Rattler. What is he doing in the league? But I don't see Olave on here. Indianapolis, nobody I've heard of. The JETSs, CJ Mosley from Alabama. That's it. Baltimore. Cornerback and a safety are out. Wide receiver Devontae Walker, I'd never heard of. And David Ojabo from Michigan, I heard of. So they got cornerback, a safety, and a linebacker out. Pittsburgh, nothing. Atlanta, DL out, another DL out, 2 inside linebackers out, 3 cornerbacks, 2 are questionable. So you got 2 defensive linemen, 2 internal linebackers, and 2 cornerbacks out for Atlanta today. That's another reason I like Denver. Denver, Josh Reynolds is out, or the receiver from the Lions, and 1 safety is out and a linebacker. Seattle, I do not see Metcalf on here, Noah Fant, and some other guy. The Niners, Nick Bosa is questionable. George Kittle is questionable with the hamstring. Trent Williams, the tackle, is questionable with an ankle. He's been questionable for like 2 years now. The KC Chiefs, Pacheco, well, we know he's out. And Harrison Buckner hurts his knee. He got surgery. He's out. Buffalo, Kean Coleman, the receiver's out. Kincaid, the tight end's out. Good news for KC. Milano's been out. Amari Cooper's, he'll play. Who cares? He stinks anyway. Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson is questionable. Personal neck. He's their only defensive player. So he's playing with a hurt neck. He'll get it shot up. He'll play, I'm sure. They need him. San Diego, Khalil Mack, questionable with the groin. He'll get shot. Houston, the same thing. Will Anderson is still out. And Dallas, Dak Prescott's out. Jordan Lewis, 2 cornerbacks, Lewis and Bland, are out. CD Lamb, questionable. Zach Martin, questionable. That's about it. So those are your 39 minutes ago updated injuries. I don't see TK Metcalf on it. And there you go. So your free play is Cincinnati. Your free play is Kansas City and Detroit. No, the line for the Lions, no. It was 12.5 it started at. Not in a teaser. Well, KC getting points is always good. Detroit is the free play. It's 7.5 because they're upset that the way they played and Goff with the 5 interceptions. Look for him to have a 5 touchdown day. And Jacksonville's got Mac Jones, so I really don't mind that line. Only with the Lions, I wouldn't play it with Kansas City because Kansas City doesn't win big. Detroit is having a habit of winning by a lot this year. And at home. I wouldn't be surprised if they won by 30. No, the Detroit line is not too high. Let's keep it under 8. 13.5, 13 is fine. Maybe in your case, buy it down to 6.5. That would be even better. I mean, at worst case, they win by a touchdown, but I'd be surprised if they didn't win by 30. Titus is the king in Vegas now. He goes in there. They roll out the red carpet. Titus is here. It's 14. Oh, play your 8-point teaser and get it down to 6. 8's fine. Again, I'm thinking they're winning by 30. I don't care if it's 7.5 or 8. Again, Goff had a 5 interception day, and he's going to rectify that. Jacksonville's defense sucks, and they got Matt Jones. They don't. If Trevor Lawrence was playing, I bet I would lock it over. But I'm not betting on Mac Jones to score points against this defense. Detroit will dominate them. All right, let's go. So that's pretty much Mark McGuire. Let's look at a quick EGAN.
The futures exchange, the interbank market, which is also all paper. And we know that there is only a fraction of physical gold for the amount of paper outstanding. At some point, that market will blow up. And of course, my view is that we will get hyperinflation. They have no tools available because printing money is not a solution. Right. Pieces of paper, you're not going to create wealth. Correct. But they still will do it because they don't know anything else to do now. The US, in my view, will lower interest rates again and maybe go to negative one day, and the dollar will fall, and then gold will start going up. Not only just supply and demand situation, you have also most of the major nations in the world are bankrupt, and the financial system hasn't been mended since 2007-9. Correct.
So I just got my results back.
Nobody cares. Anyway, I don't want to get too much in it. We got the gist in gold. Just buy the hell out of it all you can. Because you've got to get out of the dollar and you go to gold. And then, okay, but it hasn't happened before. And why will it happen now? It's BRICS, it's Putin, it's this war. That's going to drive gold up. Let's see if Trump ends the war and how quickly he does. Oh, he'll end it in 5 minutes. Yeah, bullshit, Trump. How are you going to end it? Putin's going to want to keep what he's got. Zelensky doesn't even want to end the war because he likes getting all the free money from the West. So we will see what's going on, but buy your gold and buy your silver. Get out of the dollar is critical. And then instead of buying Bitcoin, buy a Rolex or buy a Mantle card or a Jordan card or Montana rookie. Try doing that because then you'll actually own an asset. Bitcoin is not money. It's really a trade between me and Real D. It's us trading. But geez, you know what? We have Bitcoin. We have PayPal. Why don't we do that? So like you guys pay me on PayPal. What's wrong with that? Why do I need Bitcoin to make a trade? Oh, it's got a blockchain. It's got a ledger. Big fucking deal. If you're in Bitcoin, sell it. Well, you can. And buy gold with it. That would be the smart, professional gambler, professional investor like me. That's what I would do. And that's what I do when I go to the casino, not in Bitcoin, but if I play poker or craps or something, I get up and I walk away. Thank you for the $300-400. I'm not stupid. I'm not sitting down with 300 and winning $1 million. What kind of crap is that? So, that's what we have. Enjoy your football today. Any other questions or comments? Well, you have me. Titus, bring us home some more money. Good luck, Real D, G, Alex, everybody. Good luck today. College was scrambled eggs yesterday. You can't explain it. Just one of those days. All you can do is look at the games. The only thing I can get mad at is I called Kansas to upset BYU. but I bet the over instead of Kansas. That's what upsets me is I called it and then I don't bet what I call. I bet the over because it was only 45 and they still didn't get there. No, I think I needed 50 and it was like 17-13. When have you seen Kansas play a 17-point game? That was insane. And then the Utah-Colorado game, which should have went under, goes to 80. I mean, that's the type of day it was. You just can't explain it. Oregon should have lost to Wisconsin. I mean, you got to be kidding. The big lock I won was Baylor and Georgia under and Texas State. Texas State played the way I expected them. They blew out Southern Miss. So that's what we'll do. So we'll try to minimize risk next week. Normally I won the Baylor over. So it's not like I don't win. I won the Georgia under. So it's not like I don't win totals. I do that all the time. My locks today are not totals. They're both teams. I did play the total Washington Philly under. It actually won. I've got two totals played this week. That's it. That's all I've got. Two totals. I stayed away from like Indy and the Jets and Cleveland, New Orleans. The teams are so bad. I have no concept. I think Cleveland, New Orleans should be an under 44.5, under 50. With those teams, it should stay under. That's about it. Cincy, San Diego, I have no fucking idea. It's 46. I have no idea. I cannot give you a score because I don't know how strong San Diego's defense is going to be on Burrow and how bad San Diego's defense is for Herbert. So I think San Diego wins the game. Should probably be close with Burrow, but you just don't know. So I think the teams that are coming on are Frisco and Denver and Minnesota. Green Bay needs the win. Detroit doesn't need the win, but they're going to get the win. And that's it. And the Rams, New England, too many injuries on the Rams. A lot of linemen out. Anyway, that's your gold. Gold, go buy and buy and buy and buy. Don't ask me how much is enough. It's not. It's as much as you can buy. You're getting out of the dollar. And if you need the dollar, you can go back to the gold store, give them an ounce. They'll give you back $3,000 or whatever spot is. So you can get the dollar back. But you're better off in gold than you are in the dollar. Because the dollar, is at zero. Gold, is going up. So why would you want to stay in something worthless? That's kind of what it is. What else? Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm going to have some lunch, go to the pool, watch some football. Anything else? Let me know. Get my email, www.teaserking.com. You can still buy if you want to buy the locks today or the NFL today. You can still buy it. Right up till kickoff. www.teaserking.com. We got the tightest man in Vegas. He's already waiting to cash. So I hope he cashes out. We both win then. So he's a good man. Nice tips. I appreciate it. But now he's superstitious. He realizes he must tip me to win again. So he keeps winning and he keeps tipping. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. I'll try to figure out a better schedule. Maybe not Tuesday, maybe Monday, and then the rest. I might just take Tuesdays off. I'm getting tired, and I need the time to study for the games, at least for the next few weeks, and then it'll be the bowls and the playoffs, and that's easier, because they don't play them all at the same time. And the pros are simple because they're more consistent. You know what you got, and there's only 16 games normally, so it takes me a half hour to analyze the pros. Where college, it's they changed quarterbacks. I lost the game yesterday. Georgia Southern, Troy, And Troy, I look at the box score. I never heard of this quarterback. Where did they get this guy from? So I lost the game I shouldn't have lost. But anyway, I did win the Notre Dame game with 5 seconds left. Not a lot of wins, but I'll take that one. And it screwed this cover because they're laying 22 and they won by 21. But I went over 44 and it gave me 50. So, all right, everybody, go have a good day, relax, enjoy, make some money. Then do a Rumpelstiltskin. Trade your paper in for gold because you don't want to be holding paper. You don't want to be in the banks or the stock market. I know you're in the banks for what you think is protection. You got 50 grand, 100 grand in the bank, and you think it's safe there until you try pulling it out and they don't have it. And it won't have value because they printed it to death because the idiots in charge are Keynesians who think you got to stimulate. They're looking at the economy, not the dollar. So they say print the dollar to stimulate the economy. By making the dollar worthless does not stimulate the economy. It kills the economy. That's what inflation is. All right. So just understand that. Go run and buy it. It's $25.70. I think it was $26.70 for an ounce of gold. Just go buy quarter ounces at 700. Go buy any of that. Anything. Yeah. But it's hard. My guy doesn't. He's running out. He doesn't have much gold. Couple ounces is all he had. I think 3 ounces and then 7 or 8 tenth of an ounces, no quarters or halves. And I bought 3 of the tenth of an ounces. I'd already bought the ounce last week. So anyway, have a good week. Good luck today. If you need me, just www.teaserking.com and you'll get my email. Go to the homepage there. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day.